Have you ever wondered what it truly means to live a deeply fulfilling life after 70? What if I told you that the secret isn't in what you gain, but in what you let go of? In this video, I'll reveal 11 powerful things I released that completely transformed my life, bringing more peace, joy, and purpose than I ever imagined. Stick with me until the end. You might just discover the key to a more meaningful and joyful chapter of your life. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend you do and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. And if you find value in this, please like and share. It truly helps spread these important lessons. Now let's dive in. 11 things I let go of after turning 70. Number 1, letting go of working just to stay busy. For most of my life, I believed that being constantly busy meant I was successful. I worked tirelessly, always chasing the next goal, convinced that my worth was tied to my productivity. It became a cycle, one that drained my energy, stole my joy, and distanced me from what truly mattered. But at 70, I had a revelation. I wasn't living. I was merely existing, moving from task to task without real purpose. The moment I stopped to ask myself, why am I doing this? The answer shook me. I had been working out of habit, not passion. So I made a choice. If something didn't align with my values or bring me genuine joy, I let it go. The result? A life that felt lighter. No more chasing, no more exhausting myself just to stay occupied. Instead, I now spend my time with the people I love, engaging in hobbies that make my soul come alive, and truly savoring each moment. Ask yourself, are you working out of habit? Do you ever stop to question why you're always busy? Imagine stepping back, releasing the pressure to always be productive. What if your time was spent only on things that truly fulfill you? Would you feel freer? For me, the answer was a resounding yes. Number 2, quitting mindless spending. For so many years, I was trapped in the cycle of mindless spending, not even realizing the toll it was taking on my life. Everywhere I looked, messages were telling me to buy more, to have more, to accumulate things that promised happiness and fulfillment. And I fell for it. I filled my home with gadgets, clothes, and trinkets that I thought would bring me joy. But the happiness these things brought was fleeting, disappearing as quickly as it came. And what was left behind? A house full of clutter and a nagging emptiness that no amount of purchases could ever fill. As I've grown older, I've come to a powerful realization. Material possessions rarely provide lasting satisfaction. All those things I bought with the hope of feeling fulfilled, none of them truly mattered. I realized that the real wealth in life isn't found in things, but in experiences, relationships, and moments that enrich my soul. So I made a conscious decision to quit mindless spending and start spending with intention. Now I only buy things that genuinely add value to my life. Whether it's an enriching experience like traveling to a new place, or something as simple as a book that expands my mind. This change has been transformative. It's not just about saving money, although that's certainly been a nice benefit, but about shifting my focus away from materialism and onto the things that truly bring me joy. I no longer feel the pull to shop impulsively, to fill an emotional void with things I don't need. Instead, I appreciate the simplicity of life, the beauty in what I already have, and the deep sense of contentment that comes from focusing on non-material aspects of life that matter. Have you ever bought something on impulse, only to feel that sinking regret later on? Imagine how much lighter, how much freer you would feel if you let go of that habit. How would your life change if you started spending with intention? Only on things that truly brought you happiness or served a meaningful purpose. For me, it has brought a sense of peace I never knew I needed. More freedom, more clarity, and more clarity. More room to enjoy the things that matter. Letting go of mindless spending has been one of the most liberating decisions of my life, and it's a change I wish I had made sooner. If you're enjoying the topic, comment 1 below. If not, comment 0. Your feedback helps me improve and create better content for you. Number 3, letting go of stressing over the small things. In my younger years, I used to let the tiniest inconveniences throw me off balance. Whether it was traffic jams, petty arguments, or a last-minute change in plans, I would let these small irritations fester inside me. slowly building into a wave of stress that followed me everywhere. It was exhausting, constantly being on edge about things that, in hindsight, didn't matter at all. This low-grade anxiety drained my energy and robbed me of the joy that comes from simply being present. But when I turned 70, something shifted within me. I began to ask myself a simple yet powerful question whenever I felt my stress rising. Will this matter a year from now? The answer, almost every single time, was a resounding no. And just like that, I started to let go of the small stuff that once consumed me. It was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, a weight I had carried for decades without even realizing it. By letting go of the things I couldn't control, I found a sense of peace and clarity that had been missing for so long. Traffic jams, they'll pass. Arguments, most aren't worth the energy. Appointments that don't go as planned, they'll be forgotten soon enough. Focusing on what I can control and letting go of what I can't has allowed me to approach life with a calmer, more grounded perspective. I've learned that life is full of imperfections, uncertainties, and messy moments. And that's okay. There's beauty in the chaos. And by accepting it, I've discovered a deeper sense of peace than I ever thought possible. Imagine how different your life could be if you stopped worrying about things beyond your control. How much lighter would you feel if you let go of those small, insignificant stresses that clutter your mind? What's one tiny thing that's been bothering you lately? Something that, if you think about it, doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things? Could you let it go? Could releasing that burden bring more peace to your day? For me, letting go of stressing over the small things has been nothing short of transformative. It's given me the freedom to focus on what truly matters, and it's made my days so much more enjoyable. Peace isn't found in a life free of problems, it's found in how we respond to them. Number 4, prioritizing self-care over pleasing others. For most of my life, I was caught in the trap of constantly trying to please others. Whether it was family, friends, or colleagues, their needs always came first. I wore my selflessness like a badge of honor, thinking that putting myself last somehow made me a better person. But the truth is, it left me feeling drained, worn out, and disconnected from myself. I'd given so much of my energy away that there was nothing left for me. And it wasn't until I turned 70 that I finally realized something important. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. In a world where we are conditioned to prioritize everyone else, I had to unlearn the idea that taking care of myself meant I was neglecting others. It was a tough shift to make, but it was also incredibly liberating. I started small, setting aside time for myself in the mornings, whether it was meditating, taking a quiet walk in nature, or savoring a cup of tea while getting lost in a good book. I began nurturing my mind and spirit by practicing gratitude and speaking to myself with the same kindness I so readily gave others. This newfound commitment to self-care changed everything. It was like refilling a well that had long since run dry. I found that when I took care of my own needs, I had so much more energy, patience, and love to give to others. Instead of feeling resentful or exhausted, I was present, engaged, and able to give from a place of fullness rather than depletion. Have you ever found yourself constantly putting others first, neglecting your own needs? It's easy to fall into the habit of thinking that caring for yourself is selfish, but in reality, it's the most loving thing you can do. Imagine how much more you could give to the people you care about if you made your well-being a priority. What would happen if you carved out time just for yourself? How would your life change if you made self-care a non-negotiable part of your day? For me, prioritizing self-care has been nothing short of transformative. It has allowed me to show up more fully for myself and for the people I love. It's a daily reminder that I deserve the same care, kindness, and attention that I so freely offer to others. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And by embracing it, I found a deeper sense of peace, balance, and joy in my life. Number 5, saying no to overcommitting. For most of my life, I was the person who said yes to everything. Whether it was attending social events, volunteering, or helping friends and family with tasks, I was always eager to be there for everyone. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, so I filled my days to the brim, constantly running from one commitment to the next. But the cost was steep. My peace and well-being were often sacrificed. I had no time to breathe, no time to rest, and no time for myself. I was exhausted, both physically and emotionally, and I began to realize that always saying yes wasn't making me happy. It was draining me. As I've grown older, I've come to understand that saying no is one of the most empowering things I can do for myself. It's not about being selfish. It's about being mindful of my time, my energy, and my well-being. Now I'm selective about what I commit to. I ask myself, does this align with my values? Does it bring me joy? If the answer is no, then I don't hesitate to turn down the invitation, the request, or even the person who may be draining my energy. And let me tell you, it's been one of the most liberating changes I've ever made. By saying no to the things that don't serve me, I've opened up space in my life for what truly matters. I no longer feel the pressure to please everyone, and instead I focus on the commitments that bring me genuine happiness and fulfillment. There's a quiet power in choosing what to say yes to, in protecting your time and energy. I found more balance, more peace, and more time to nurture the relationships and activities that bring meaning to my life. Do you ever struggle with saying no? Do you find yourself overcommitting even when it leaves you feeling drained? Imagine how free it would feel to choose only the commitments that truly serve you. What's one thing you've agreed to that's sapping your energy? How would it feel to say no the next time an unwanted request comes your way? For me, learning to say no has been a game changer. It's given me the gift of time to rest, to reflect, and to focus on what's truly important. By letting go of the need to overcommit, I've reclaimed my energy, and in doing so, found more joy and fulfillment in the commitments I choose. Saying no is not a rejection of others. It's an affirmation of yourself. Number 6, ending unhealthy relationships. Relationships are at the heart of our lives, shaping who we are and how we experience the world. But not all relationships are created equal. For years, I clung to connections with people who didn't respect me or who brought negativity into my life out of a sense of duty or obligation. Whether it was friends, colleagues, or even family members, I felt compelled to maintain these relationships, even though they left me feeling drained, anxious, and emotionally exhausted. Deep down, I knew these relationships weren't serving me, but I couldn't let go. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, and I feared being alone. But when I turned 70, something inside me shifted. I had a wake-up call, a realization that life is far too short to waste on people who don't uplift you. Time is precious, and spending it with those who don't bring joy, peace, or positivity into your life is not only draining, it's damaging. Letting go of unhealthy relationships wasn't easy, and it came with its share of guilt and heartache. But it was also one of the most freeing and necessary things I've ever done for myself. I didn't end these relationships with malice or bitterness. I simply chose to prioritize my well-being. I began focusing on people who genuinely cared for me, who supported me, and who encouraged my growth. I sought out those relationships that were nurturing, enriching, and mutual. And what I found was nothing short of transformative. Letting go of toxic connections created space for deeper, more meaningful bonds. The weight of negativity lifted, and I felt a profound sense of peace I hadn't known before. I was finally surrounded by people who made me feel valued, respected, and loved. Are there people in your life who drain your energy? Maybe you've been holding on to relationships that, deep down, you know aren't serving you. What might happen if you focused on those who lift you instead of those who bring you down? Imagine how much lighter and happier you would feel if you chose to invest your time in people who bring positivity into your life. Ending unhealthy relationships isn't easy, but it's a powerful act of self-love. It's not about cutting people off out of anger. It's about choosing to nurture the connections that bring joy, love, and support into your world. Since making this shift, my life has been filled with deeper, more meaningful connections, and I've never felt more at peace. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is the freedom to walk away from what no longer serves you. Number 7, putting my health first. For far too long, I put my health on the back burner, convinced that there were always more important things demanding my attention: work, family, and endless responsibilities. It was easy to push my well-being aside, telling myself I'd focus on it later. But when I turned 70, I had a moment of reckoning. I realized that I could no longer afford to ignore my health. I began to understand that without it, Even the simplest joys of life, like playing with my grandkids, taking a walk in nature, or just waking up without aches and pains, could slip through my fingers. It wasn't an overnight transformation, but I started with small, manageable changes. I began walking every morning, not as a chore, but as a time to reconnect with myself and the world around me. I swapped out processed foods for fresher, healthier options, nourishing my body in ways I hadn't before. And perhaps most importantly, I carved out moments for stillness and reflection through meditation, something that has deeply enriched my mental and emotional health. These small changes weren't just about improving my physical health. They were a gateway to clearer thinking, more emotional balance, and an overall sense of well-being that I had long overlooked. There's a saying that health is wealth, and now I know how true that is. No amount of money, success, or achievement can replace the feeling of waking up each day, feeling strong, capable, and mentally clear. And the best part? It's never too late to start. No matter where you are in life, taking even the smallest step toward better health can create ripple effects that change everything. How often do you find yourself putting your health last? What if, just for a moment, you shifted your focus and made your well-being a priority? Imagine the difference that even the tiniest change, whether it's a daily walk, a healthier meal, or a few minutes of quiet meditation, could make in your life. How might it change the way you feel, the way you move, the way you experience the world around you? For me, prioritizing my health has been nothing short of transformative. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better. And if I can do it at 70, I truly believe anyone can. So what's one small thing you can start doing today to improve your health? You might just be amazed at how it changes your life. Number 8, tackling procrastination on personal goals. Time is a strange thing. When we're young, it feels limitless, like there's always another day, another chance. But in the blink of an eye, years slip through our fingers. For much of my life, I told myself, I'll get to it later. There was always something more pressing: work, responsibilities, the endless demands of everyday life. I tucked away my dreams, promising myself that someday I'd have the time. But when I turned 70, a sobering truth hit me. Later isn't guaranteed. That realization changed everything. I no longer wanted to look back with regret, wondering what could have been. So I made a choice to stop waiting and start living. Whether it was learning something new, traveling to a place I'd always dreamed of, or finally finishing that book I started years ago, I committed to my personal goals with intention and joy. And what I discovered was nothing short of life-changing. The moment I stopped procrastinating, my world opened up. Each day felt richer, filled with purpose and adventure. I wasn't waiting for the right time anymore, I was creating it. And that shift, it was exhilarating. Have you been putting your dreams on hold, waiting for the perfect moment? What if that moment is right now? Imagine how your life might change if you took the first step today. I can tell you from experience, you don't need all the answers. You just need to begin. Even the smallest action can set off a ripple effect that transforms everything. So ask yourself, what's one goal you've been postponing? And what would happen if you started today? Because later is uncertain. But now is yours for the taking. Number 9, embracing change. Instead of fearing it. For much of my life, change was my greatest fear. I dreaded the uncertainty that came with it and clung tightly to what was familiar, even when I knew it no longer served me. The comfort of the known felt safe, and I convinced myself that staying in my comfort zone was the easiest path. But as the years passed, especially as I reached 70, I began to see things differently. I realized that change is inevitable, whether we welcome it or not. More importantly, I learned that change is often the key to growth, renewal, and self-discovery. Instead of resisting change, I made a conscious choice to embrace it, and that shift changed my life. Where I once saw change as frightening, I now see it as an opportunity, a doorway to new experiences and possibilities. It has added a sense of freedom and adventure to my life that I never expected. Each shift, big or small, has become a chance to learn and evolve. By welcoming change, I have opened myself to more joy and fulfillment than I could have imagined. I no longer cling to the past or hold on to what feels safe out of fear. Instead, I approach change with curiosity and optimism, asking myself, what new experience might this bring? How can I grow from this? What if you stopped fearing change and started viewing it as an adventure? What if, instead of resisting life's inevitable shifts, you leaned into them with an open heart? Imagine how your life might transform if you let go of fear and embrace the unknown. The adventure awaits. You just have to be willing to take the leap. Number 10, valuing sleep as a cornerstone of health. Sleep is often overlooked, especially in our younger years. We convince ourselves we can function on just a few hours, prioritizing work, socializing, or mindless distractions over rest. I was no different. I sacrificed sleep without a second thought, believing that productivity mattered more than recovery. But as I've aged, I've come to deeply appreciate the power of sleep. I now understand that without proper rest, my body, mind, and spirit cannot function at their best. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the time when our bodies heal, our minds reset, and our spirits recharge. Now, I make sleep a priority. I've established a bedtime routine that helps me wind down: herbal tea, a good book, or gentle meditation. These small rituals signal to my body that it's time to rest and restore. The difference has been profound. I wake up feeling refreshed, energized, and clear-headed, ready to embrace the day ahead. Are you getting enough sleep? How might your mood, energy levels, and productivity improve if you made rest a priority? What's one small change you can make to your bedtime routine to ensure better sleep? For me, the simple act of valuing sleep has been life-changing. Tonight, try winding down a little earlier. Your body, mind, and spirit will thank you. Number 11, letting go of comparisons. Comparing ourselves to others is almost instinctive. For years, I measured my worth against others, quietly stacking my achievements, appearance, and lifestyle up against theirs. I allowed external validation to dictate my self-worth, believing that happiness came from how I ranked in comparison to others. But when I turned 70, I had a revelation. Comparison is the thief of joy. No matter how much I measured myself against others, it never led to happiness, only self-doubt, envy, and dissatisfaction. I realized that the only person I should compare myself to is the person I was yesterday. Each of us walks a unique path, and there is no universal measure of success or fulfillment. When I let go of comparison, I found something far more valuable: peace. I learned to appreciate my own journey, embracing my life for what it is rather than wishing it were different. The pressure lifted, and I felt freer than ever before. What would happen if you stopped comparing yourself to others? Imagine the joy and contentment you might find if you focused on your own journey instead. How often do you catch yourself measuring your life against someone else's? And what might change if you shifted that focus inward, celebrating who you are and the path you're on? For me, letting go of comparisons has been one of the most freeing decisions I've ever made. I stopped wishing for someone else's life and started living fully in my own. The next time you find yourself caught in comparison, pause. Remind yourself that your journey is uniquely yours, and that's exactly how it's meant to be. Living with intention. After 70, letting go of these 11 things has been one of the most profound and transformative experiences of my life. Each step away from old habits and limiting beliefs has brought me closer to a life of greater peace, fulfillment, and joy. It's never too late to change, to grow, and to embrace the life you truly want. The journey to self-discovery and happiness is ongoing, and every day is an opportunity to choose what truly matters. So what will you let go of today?